Last time we were working on this code here to add a folder system to our little application. So we have we have the application still, but the folder system is not implemented. So that's like the next step. So I have that running, and whoops, the type checker is over here running. So we'll have that. But I can't, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I can't display anything yet because we don't have this code. We don't have routing set up, basically. So we need to set up, well, the equivalent to routing because it's a single page app. Last time we stopped when I was writing all of this junk, basically this folder structure here, because it took, I didn't want you to watch me type it. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, everything that I'm doing is sort of under the umbrella of statically typed functional programming languages. So yes, that's the plan, I would say. I don't know what you mean exactly by plan. Actually, recently I did hear about Carp, but a friend of mine said that they didn't really like it. I have heard of it. Yeah, so it's another programming language that I think is like Python-y, if I remember correctly. Oh, no, this is a Lisp. Never mind, different. Yeah. But I have heard about this, but I haven't looked at it. Anyway, so yeah, so the last time, like, I started to write this, I think it was this. Yeah. And I didn't want you to sit here watching me. So what I did is I just copy and pasted all of this code from the internet so that I didn't have to write it. Carp is mostly implemented in Haskell. That's interesting. So the one language that looks super interesting to me most recently is as far as Lisps are concerned, is the Haskell Lisp. Ask, what is it called? Hang on. Hackett. Like, this is literally Haskell with Lisp syntax. Oh, I mean, I haven't heard anything about it, so but yeah. Oh, there is something that's saying it's dead. Current, oh, it's the second one. Yeah, I mean, she seems like she's working all kinds of things, so anyway. What's up, Freeman and Chexer and Wizard Stick? It's a funny name. Yeah, we like statically typed functional programming languages. That's kind of what we're looking for. So when we're doing new stuff anyway. So yeah, let's continue working on this. We now have our folders. Busy happenings. Carp awareness. Yeah, no, thank you. I at some point I will get into Lisps because I've always wanted to, because I think it's a cool style and something I've never done, and is also historically very relevant. So yeah, we need to do that at some point. All right, so we now have this. We have to update our view function to actually see these things. So well, not update our view function, but we're gonna write a view folder But yeah, thank you for telling me about that. Even if I hadn't already heard about it, it's still interesting. And probably interesting for other people as well. So we're gonna get folder, let subfolders list map Yeah, there's a few different Lispy Haskell implementations as far as I'm aware. Folders. I always find that so strange. The way let in is formatted. It's very weird to me. Give me 1 second and I'll actually format the code and you'll see like what it ends up looking like. But that's why I don't write formatters, because I don't know what is good format. Div class subfolders close. So this should compile, and then if we format it, you'll see like we take the let and we indent this, but for in we don't indent. I don't understand this style. It's very weird to me. Oh, I could have just pointed this one out. Like, why not just push this over? Wouldn't that increase consistency? Not really sure. Anyway, okay. So let's look at this real quick. So we have a folder and we have a view function that is recursive, right? So we're calling view folder on all the subfolders. And we also have a div that just displays the name and then all of the subfolders. Yeah. So this is just going to be a div of divs Axel. Thank you. Yeah, that was the other one that I was thinking about in my head, but I couldn't come up with the name, so I just didn't. Yeah, so we have a recursive HTML definition here, which is kind of interesting. Apparently we hadn't seen this before, but that seems unlikely. Destructuring single variant custom types. Yeah, I wasn't okay. I thought we had seen this before in Elm, but apparently, according to the book, we haven't. And maybe that's because of the way the folder is defined. Yeah, we define folder not like an alias to a record type, but with an explicit constructor, which is sort of the new syntax, I guess. We hadn't done that before. So that's why that is, I guess, pointed out. But coming from Haskell, this looks perfectly normal. Okay. Recursive functions. Yeah, we know about recursive functions, so we're not really concerned about that. Incorporating view folder into view. Let's use our hard-coded model to try and view folder. So in our view function, we have a selected photo, and we're going to basically add a div for all the folders, and that's going to go up here. So we're going to put this here, that there, and we're going to add another div. It's going to be class folders, and then we're going to stick 2 things in there. Let's do that. We're going to have an h1 text folders, and then we're going to have view folder model.root. Okay, so we start at our root and then we recursively build the HTML for each of the folders. Now I still don't know how to view this. I guess I just need to replace the main function. So let's just do that. So over here, instead of photo groove, we'll write photo, what is it called? Some photo folders, I guess, which should work. It doesn't work, probably because of, I don't know. Oh, right. I should look at the console. Get rid of this. Go over here. Refresh this. Not there. Son of a gun. I just dropped my chat, so if you just said something, I missed it. Oh, yeah, and then Control-Shift. Property init of undefined. Right. So over here, we need initialize, probably. And what we want to do is just... yeah. Comment this out, I guess? We don't need any of this. Oh, I have... maybe that's all we need to do? Cannot read property init of undefined. Okay. I mean, I guess... well, we can't remove this initialize thing. So how do we do this before? I don't even remember. Before we had this initialize JS thing. I guess we have to go look, because I honestly don't remember. Oh, maybe there's something in here that reminds me how to do that. Oh, I think we just use... right. Okay, hang on. I know what I need to do. So get rid of this, get rid of all this, and save that, and then just do Elm, what is it called? Reactor. And then we'll refresh over here. You clearly don't need that. We can do source photo folders. Okay, so there isn't going to be any styling because I don't have the CSS loaded, but you can see that the folders are being rendered. So once we get the routing thing set up, then we'll have both the images and this styled. So all we can do right now is click these, I think. Yeah, and they just kind of flop around, and there's nothing we can do with these right now. So that's that. All right, so what next? So we did that. we want to expand and collapse them. Whenever the user clicks a folder, we want it to toggle between expanded and collapsed. This means we'll need to introduce a new piece of state to our folder, a bool indicating whether the folder is expanded. Let's start by making these changes. Sure. So let's just open this, and then we will say 17G expanded bool, and then work through the errors that come up. Subfolder expanded equals false. Probably. Okay, and then every time we define a folder, we need to define expanded. Expanded equals false, I guess. But this would go here. And then we need to do that for the other folders. Expand equals false. Expand. To add them here. Here. Manually editing this is kind of a huge pain, but I think this will go away after a little bit. I'm kind of honestly like, quote unquote, like doing it right now, because it's just getting me to play with the compiler and think about what I'm supposed to be doing. So that should be good, and then I think everything else should be good. And the key is that for every folder based on the message, we're going to need to basically update expanded to true and then change the view function to actually visualize them expanded versus contracted. What else do we need to do? I suppose it's going to be a little weird because the message needs to contain some information about the original folder. So that's going to be interesting. And what else? I can't really think of anything else offhand. Oh, just for reference, there's only one viewer right now, but I need to leave a little early today. So normally I would stream until like 10:30, but I have a thing at 9:30. So that's it. At the end of the stream as well, I'll give away a gifted sub because I still need to do that from last time. Okay. Oh, it wanted me to make them all true. That's fine. Let's just go fix that real quick. I think the only thing that I say in here is false, so we can just say and then we'll do it up here as well. Not that that means anything in that particular case. Alrighty. Okay, so describing descent. To implement this feature, we'll need to add an onClick handler to each folder to toggle its expanded state. Here's how we'll do this. We'll pass onClick a new message that tells update which folder the user clicked on. When update receives one of these messages, descend from the root folder into the folder tree, toggle the appropriate folder's expanded field. That's kind of what we expected. The following listing shows the code we'll need to add to accomplish this. Sure. So we'll put our message types, type folder path. Okay. And then somewhere down, I don't know where to put this. This will just don't know. You can just go here, I guess. Toggle expanded path folder equals case we're gonna have an end where we return a folder where we take the folder and update expanded and flip the current expanded state. I'm guessing end means we've found where we're supposed to go. Subfolder target index remaining path. Oh. Folders list.indexed map. I've never done that before. Transform folder.subfolders. I don't know what transform is. I assume we're going to define it. We are. Transform takes an int a folder and returns a folder. So we'll talk about this here in a second. Current index, probably folder, current subfolder. If current index equals target index, then toggle expanded recurse remaining path current subfolder. All right, we're gonna have to think about this a little bit. Folder, subfolders. Looks like it compiles, so that's good. Oh, it's formatted. I don't know what index map does, so let's go look that up. Indexed map. It's in list. Same as map, but the function is also applied to the index of each element. Ah, I see. So we have our tree that, or our subfolders, which is just a list, and then we add an index to it. Each folder is numbered, and then we use that. Okay. I can deal with this. Toggle expanded takes a folder path and a folder, does one of the following. If folder path is n, there are no more subfolders to traverse into, so toggle the expanded value on the given folder. If folder path is subfolder target index, look through the given routes subfolders until we find one at position target index, then call toggle expanded again, this time passing the subfolder as the new root folder and passing the remaining folder path after discarding the subfolder value. Once it has resolved all of the subfolders, final call to toggle expanded will receive originally desired subfolder as its root argument, along with the root as its folder path, meaning it will toggle the expanded value as we want. Okay. Yep. Yep. Sorry, there's a lot of reading right now because they assume we've never used recursive functions, maybe. So I'm just trying to get to the next important thing. All right, so we got clicked folder path. So there's our new message that we need to handle. You'll see update fails. So we need to say click folder, and we can just for now say it doesn't matter what you give me. I will just return the model and a command none. And that should compile. Yep, with only a few complaints. Excuse me. Da, 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 da. $207. And then this will just be, we're going to take our model and we need to update thing at the path. So root equals toggle expanded path model root. Connecting this update logic to view. So view folder now takes a folder path folder path sub into folder to HTML. Oops. Message X subfolder equals. What is append index? Where'd that come from? Oh, it's going to be another function. This code just got drastically more complicated. Index path subfolder folder label clicked folder text folder name ugh. Okay. So far, I think this makes sense. And then we need this code up here. This is Vim. Else, we'll fix that error here in a second. I assume I just missed something up here. Div class folder collapsed folder label. All right, what are you complaining about? Let's save this. Okay, there, it's fixed now. And then we fix that, and then we need to write this append index function, and then we need to think pretty carefully about what's going on here, because this code just got very complicated. I mean, append index clearly just adds some number to the folder so that when we click it, it understands what we're clicking, right? Okay. So append index path equals case path of end subfolder index end. Was it? I don't remember defining a subfolder. Do we do that yet? Not even sure. Sub folder index remaining path. I think this ends up being contents. So in the previous code, we called it subfolder, and then we changed it to contents here. All right, let me format this again, and let's think about what's going on here. Okay, so let's start again here, and let's also bring this code closer to this code. All right. This is still Pop! OS, so it's like basically Ubuntu 19.10, and the window manager is XFCE. Okay. So what do we do? So basically, given a path and a folder, if that path is the end, just toggle the last. This is the root of the. What does end mean here? I'm gonna read this again. The important parts. We could also put some logging in here, which might be helpful, because there's really not a lot of folders, so you can see what's being triggered when. But kind of prefer just thinking about it in my head most of the time. Technically, here, if folder path is end, there are no subfolders to traverse into. So toggle the expanded value on the given folder. Right, so we've reached the final folder, so we'll toggle that here. Sure. And because we're recursing, this is kind of like the nil case, essentially. For subfolder, we're going to be given a target index and the remaining path. Remind me what a subfolder is, please. Oh, I probably can just... No, I can't. It's an int, and then more folder paths. Subfolder, subfolder, subfolder. Seems weird that we have two recursive structures here. But maybe I just don't fully understand why would we want two of these? I guess I don't fully understand that yet, but that's okay. The index map deals with the integers that we're interested in, and then if we've our current index is the target index, which is what we're trying to toggle, then we just flip it. Toggle expanded. Or then we've reached the end, right? Else current subfolder. Is it actually equals equals? It is. It seems to me like we would want to stop here. But I'm not entirely sure. I guess we need to collapse every folder. I'm unsure. We'll have to see what the behavior ends up looking like. Maybe it will make more sense. All right, so then when we view a subfolder, we're going to be given this index again because we are using index map. And we call view folder on this append index function. Okay, so that's the... So we build up the structure. Okay, that's why it's separate. But it almost seems like we should just build this up in the folder object itself. I guess that means that every time we add a folder or something, we would have to add the folder index. But we would be, you know, in this particular scheme, we have to do that every time we need to call the view function. So like, I'm wondering if it might make more sense to refactor this such that the index is contained within the folder object itself. To use HIE with Vim, yeah, it's HIE. I have everything there for my setup. And there's a video that goes along with it that's probably out of date at this point, but that's okay. Actually, is my editor even up to date? Let's go look real quick. What is it? Config nvim get status. git diff. So we've added PureScript. We've, oh, right. We've cleaned up the initialization We've added Elm. We're using the most recent release. We also include Elm stuff. I don't remember what this one is. Shakespeare. Oh yeah, and then color scheme, PureScript, Elm, etc. We've switched back to Grovebox, and we added Fuzzy Finder. So let me just commit these real quick, so that you have the most updated one. I don't really care. Update. There you go. Son of a gun. All right, so head. Root patterns. I suppose we want to keep the head one. Then we just run git commit, right? Didn't we just do that? Oh, do I have to run add first? Right, and then push. Yeah, there you go. It's like, I have a whole bunch of LSPs set up, so it might not be that useful to everyone, but you can get an idea. Writing providers for the Haskell editor setup. Yeah, I mean, it's just my setup. Other people have different setups as well, so. Okay, we're done here anyway. G, M. Okay. Yeah, so if it's expanded, view everything. That's what this is doing. Otherwise, just show the folder label so that you can click it. How do you... All right, that's just the view function. That is just the view function. The click folder, or the update function, has to do with the toggling. Okay, so we did that. Continue. What next? We need to modify our topo view function. Where's view? Oh, right. So we need to say, there. And then in theory, this all compiles, and it does. So over here, we should see. Oh, but there's, again, no styling, so I can't really click on anything because they're fully expanded. There's no... How do I... So what I think I want to do is skip ahead a little bit and find where we include these folders. We're going to do a bunch of decoding for the data on there, but what I want to do is include it so that we can actually see it. Okay, so now that we have all these pages, we need a header across the top with links to get to them quickly and make sure it doesn't. So what I'm actually doing is skipping ahead to chapter 8 so that I can actually make the single page application work correctly. And then what? Then we'll go back and we'll finish this because I need the CSS to make this look nice and to make sure the expansion stuff is working. So this is a little odd, but I don't know how else to handle this. So that's what we're gonna do. So, and then I'll have to write a note in here that this is like a combination of chapter 7 and chapter 8 or something. All right, so we're gonna build a single page application. So to do that, we basically are just wrapping our different little smaller applications inside of this main function. So import browser exposing document, import HTML exposing HTML, a footer h1 lee nav text full. Sure. Seems like a lot to have to write. Attributes. You can also see that when I added this new file, the LSP doesn't want to start, but that's okay. So in this particular main function, we're going to have no shared model, so we can just basically have an empty function. I don't know what a document necessarily means right now. Title, photo, groove, single page app. And we need a body. Oh, okay, so there's a whole bunch of viewers right now. So I want to give away a gifted sub because I need to do that from last time, and I'll explain why here in a second. Give me 2 seconds to gift a sub to somebody since we have a good number of people hanging out. A sub. Gift to the community. 1 sub. Complete. All right, so Lumi, nice, that's good. So Lumi, you've been given a gifted sub, and the reason that I'm giving away a gifted sub is that I have a swear jar. So when I swear 10 times on the stream, I give away a gifted sub. To be fair, it almost took me a year to get to 10, so I guess I have my swearing under control these days. So anyway, so Lumi gets a free one, so congrats. Text. And then this needs to also be this, and then we'll add this isn't even my final form, which is really funny that it's a Dragon Ball Z joke because we are literally, or Jappy was talking about Dragon Ball Z jokes earlier, so it's kind of funny to me. Type message, nothing. there's essentially no messages yet. We have an update function. Whoops, can't spell. Takes a message, a model, and returns what? A model and a command message, update, message. It's really, we don't need this. And then we need model, command, done. All right, and then we'll have to compile this here in a second, but I want to keep writing this. So this all looks perfectly fine. Subscriptions, sub message. I don't think we'll have any of these, but maybe we'll have to add them. All right, we have a main function. Document, init. So basically, initialize is a const function. Subscriptions, update, view. Okay, and then what we'll do here is just see if this thing is building, I guess. Do you see the ending here? That's funny. My bad. Nobody caught it before me, so who's sillier, me or them? Okay, so it seems that's working as expected. It doesn't do what we want it to do yet, but this is our start. So I guess for the single page app, this is kind of what we're going to be doing. We're going to have like a name, which is a title, and then we'll have buttons that get us where we need to go, I suppose. All right, so my phone is blowing up right now. We need to fix index HTML and initialize JS, I guess. So what I did here is I changed the code over here to deal with PhotoGroove. And so what we need to do is comment all this out for now and have a var app equals elm main init. Guess you put that there. I don't write JavaScript very often, so this always looks weird to me. There's so much extra noise when you're writing JavaScript or any sort of C-based programming language. It drives me insane, actually. Do I need that there? I don't think so. Like, so all of this is like, I don't actually need this, right? It still works if that wasn't there. So it's like, that kind of stuff annoys me. All right, and then if we do this, I think we can close both of these and then do G over here. We do our Elm reactor, and then we say, instead of PhotoGroove, we say main, and then this opens up a new one, but we didn't need to do that. And then we just refresh over here. So we just run this, and we see we have styling now, and we have this. So that worked correctly. That's what I needed to fix last time. In the index.js, I had elm.photogroove.init. I needed elm.photo folder or folder. What is it called? Photo folder? I don't know. Whatever the heck I called it. That's what I needed to change. I don't exactly know what we're going to have to do with the JavaScript component to this other piece, but we'll figure that out when we get there. I assume that we can just write elm.photogroove init, and that will just init our thing. All right, so noise. Now we're just going to have okay, so go back to source main to handle our SPA stuff. So here we're going to have a page, which is a page. We're going to have a type page, which can be either gallery, folders, or not found. Okay. Neopiece, thank you so much for the follow. Really appreciate that. That puts us at, I think, it says 270. Although it might say 271 on the follower goal thing. Which is kind of weird, actually. I thought it said that earlier, but anyway, thank you. Appreciate it. Somebody must have got tired of me, I think. Oh, I wrote path, page. So, if you've never been around, well, I mean, maybe you haven't seen the channel before, but essentially we just do statically typed functional programming languages. And lately we've been really interested in doing web-based stuff. So we have Elm, and we also have, oh, okay, the screen updated over here as well. My OBS, I mean. It was a lot later than Twitch, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. Sorry, I lost my train of thought again. Yeah, so statically typed functional, pure functional programming languages, ideally. Right now we're doing web stuff, so we're doing Elm. We're also doing PureScript on the weekends, and on the weekend, well, not every weekend, but that's what I'm trying to do. And when we're doing the PureScript stuff, we're listening to music, but when I'm doing books, which is kind of what I'm doing right now, so like we're doing this Elm in Action book, so there's that. I don't listen to music, so I can post all this stuff to YouTube. That's the idea. Okay, so we did that. Hopefully that gives you an idea of what's going on the channel. So to make this happy, let's just put not found in here. Don't really care. Because we just need to update the model. Oh, I can't do it like this. I have to do page equals not found. Not that that will make a lot of sense, but we'll put that there. Okay. For our view function, we have title, body, and we're gonna have a, probably put that there. This, well, I think it's gonna go here, but we'll have a view header function, model.page. Ah, my nose is so itchy right now. Apologize for like playing with my nose. My voice is soothing. Nice. Even though I'm tripping over my own words. Wish I had a voice sounding more like yours. I think the key is the microphone. Your microphone is a little harsher than mine. I don't know. Because you're talking through the boom mic. But again, like, it's fine. I don't really have a problem listening to you. But thank you for saying my voice is smooth. I do appreciate that. Kind of a weird compliment, but I like it. All right, and then we have a view footer, which I guess is just an HTML message, right? My microphone sits right in front of me, so I have a Yeti Nano. Yeah, I put it right in front of my face, and then I just put my hands around it while I'm typing. I just don't want to pick up the mic or the typing. Otherwise, I would just put it like, I don't know. I've thought about getting like a boom mic. At some point, I might get one because people like to like grab it and be weird. So it's like a little prop to play with. But it just sits there for me and does nothing, which is nice. That's true. That's a good point. You would need like a boom that like attaches to, I don't know, something near your bed, which would probably be annoying as well because it's there when you're, all the time, whereas your headset isn't like that. Footer. But yeah, my entire streaming setup is kind of like, in the corner of the house. So it happens to be also my work setup. This is apparently a coat. I've never heard this before, but sure. Okay, and then we did that. Then we need to implement view header. Well, thank you. I try to. I don't know, it's my voice. I can't really change it, right? I could try and talk deeper, but I don't think that would sound natural. Also hurts my throat a lot. I want it to be smoother. I don't know. Okay, logo. I don't think I could do that, even if I wanted to. I'm sure what sounded like my low voice is not low at all, actually. Groove. Yeah. Links. Nav. Alright, does this compile? Seems to. So what does it look like? Alright, so now we have our header, and I guess there's stuff here. No, there's no links yet, so I suppose we're gonna add links here in a second. And we have our footer. Okay. The function accepts the current page as its argument because their design specification tells us the only way view header renders things differently is when the current page changes. Creating links with navlink. To implement the links, we'll define a helper function right below links in our let expression and have links call it. Okay, so we're going to have links here. Actually, first, let's format this because I know it's going to change pretty drastically. And then we will put that there and start here. So nav link folders. URL. Oh. All right, so this is like nav link, gallery, URL, gallery, caption, gallery. Does this compile? Oh, caption equals. Sorry. And we need a closing. Okay, we need navlink. Where does navlink come from? We need to write it. This is going to take a page and produce a URL string, caption, string to HTML message. So I guess this is what's going to link us to the other pages. I don't know. Target. Oh, this is just creating the links. Right, I'm stupid. Target page URL caption list item class list active page equals target page a href URL text caption. No, that's enough. Okay, let's see here. Water time. Okay. So what are you doing? What you are doing now is actually using Elm language or what? So yeah, Elm is the language, and it includes all of the front end components to do web programming. So basically, well, it's not compiling right now, but you know, we just have I've not seen that, but I don't really like Atom, so it just doesn't work right. What did I do here? That's closed, that's closed. So it's just complaining about this page thing. I never liked Atom. Like the CoffeeScript stuff, I hated that. Like changing the configs was always a pain. It's just not worth the time. Like especially now that like before I discovered COC and Vim, I was much more interested in trying other things. But now that I have COC and Vim, I don't really need to leave Vim, or don't feel like I need to leave Vim for what I'm doing. So what's Page? Where does Page go? We gotta find it. So that's one thing. So I mean, that's Page right there. VS Code. Embedded REPL. Yeah, I mean, like in VS Code, you could always just run GHCID in the terminal as well. Kind of the same idea, I suppose. Where does this page come from? I'm gonna guess that this is like a attribute or something. Page. Oh. Page. Oh. Okay. Page? What is page? So confused. Clearly missed something. I just don't know what it is. I'm guessing it's probably going to be on the same or the next page, maybe. The reason navlink is defined in the let expression. Oh, that's probably what it is. Oh, I see, I see. I see. So navlink needs to be embedded in here. That's the problem. Like so. There we go. Okay. Page is this page. That was the trick. Okay. Yeah. I think the VS Code in the browser thing is going to be, that will be really, really cool when that's available and ready. But I don't know. Still like Vim quite a bit. But I don't really use a lot of features from my IDE, right? I kind of just explore things in a browser. So there's probably much more powerful IDE-like functionality that I could have, but I don't. Anyway. All right, so the reason, yeah, we already talked about that. Why does navlink take a URL string? What happens if we mix up the order? Yeah, that would be problematic. Passing name. Anytime you have multiple arguments of the same type, and you're concerned about accidentally passing them in the wrong order, putting them into a record is a quick way to achieve named arguments. Right, so if we put this here, right, these are very close to what, to their definitions. I suppose you could still flip URL and caption here, but if you did that, you'd kind of look silly, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, if you could show me sufficient evidence that that workflow is better than mine, then I could consider it. All right. Using class list. So this time we're using it to add the active. So this is the class list thing. So we're using this to add CSS active when these things are equal. So this takes a list of true and false type things. So if it's like the CSS element and active. Excuse me. Maybe that's why I don't like Atom. Or I guess prefer VS Code over Atom. I don't fully know what you mean by that, but I will trust you. Lumi is to be trusted. Ever increasing to-do list. If that ever goes away, let me know, because I want your life. If it does. All right. So trying it out to test how this works. All right. So we'll see if this works. So if we go like that and we refresh, you'll see gallery. Cannot get gallery, it can't do anything, I suppose. Folders just leads us back here because we haven't really linked these things to any application. Although why does it? I would have guessed that this would indicate active. Oh, right, but I've set this to be active, even though it doesn't really do what we tell it to. And then if I go down here, hello, and change this to, I should do folders, then this should refresh and you can see how fast it is, which is nice. And it will highlight folder. Okay. Fair enough. So, yeah. So there we go. We have not linked like the pages that we want into here. We've only created sort of the outside components. All right, so skipping unnecessary renders with HTML lazy. At this point, nothing is stopping us from moving ahead with our implementation of the header. However, one performance optimization technique is so cheap, we will ultimately be adding 5 characters to our view functions implementation. Okay. Okay. So we need import HTML lazy exposing lazy. That's probably why it can be a whole ton faster, right? I would, if I had to guess. Okay. So, body. You know what? I just realized something. I think I'm missing a let, but it doesn't matter yet. It will matter here in a second. So we'll stick a lazy in front of this. And I'm guessing a lazy in front of this as well. Oh, it needs an argument. So footer doesn't take an argument, so we'll just get rid of that for now. So the type of, here, I should show you, that would be useful. So the type of lazy is A to HTML message, A to HTML message, but view footer is just HTML message. It doesn't take an argument. So we would have to rewrite view footer to take basically a unit argument if we wanted to stick a lazy in front of it. I suppose we could write const and then pass it unit as well. We would probably write lazy const view footer unit, and that should compile. Okay, there's no const, so given anything, return view footer. So we could write that. That would work. That's just manipulating the types a little bit. Okay. The first time lazy view header model.page runs, lazy will not improve our performance. In fact, it'll almost be as if we hadn't added lazy at all. Lazy will call view header, passing model page, and return whatever view header returned. However, as it does this, lazy also quietly does something else. It stores the value of model.page as well as the value view header returned. The next time our program executes this line of code, lazy will first take a quick look at model page. If it's the same, it won't bother calling view header at all. It'll immediately return. Sure, great. It's safe for lazy to skip calling view header. We already know what a function returned last time. Yeah, okay. Using lazy isn't free. It might seem that this ought to be the default behavior. Why not lazy everything? Lazy relies on storing extra information about every function that gets passed to it. So the more you use lazy, the more memory you use. Sure. They're just saying, like, how do we know it's lazy? You could add debug.log, but I don't really want to do that right now. And then what they're doing is basically adding an on mouse over to cause the to change the state and then show that it's working, basically. All right, so routing, that's the next thing. So before we start writing any in Elm code, we'll need to make a small tweak to the way we're loading our compiled Elm code in the browser. So far, we've been opening index.html directly in the browser, resulting in an address bar that always begins with, yeah, well, that's not really what we're doing, but okay. We need HTTP server SPA. Excuse me. We actually don't need that. Okay, so they point out that you can use this HTTP server SPA, but I don't think we actually need it. Maybe we will. Maybe Elm Live won't work for us. I guess we'll find out here in a second. So if Elm Live doesn't work for us, then we'll come back to HTTP server single page app and figure that out. But I think we're okay. So when the user navigates to the base URL with nothing after it, the application should display the folders. I have no idea why that's so hard for me to say. Photo folders. If we put gallery after it, we're going to put the gallery. Sure. when the user navigates to something else, the application display the photo folders page once again, but this time, okay, fine. Receiving the URL with browser application. To examine the initial page URL, we'll need to upgrade browser document to browser application. Okay, so finally some code to write. So we're gonna replace this with application, and then we need to write a bunch more code. So we're gonna ignore apparently 3 inputs all of a sudden. I don't know what that exactly means yet. On URL request, we're going to ignore inputs and write debug to do handle URL requests on URL change debug to do. I've never done this before. This is kind of nice actually. Handle URL changes. What time is it? Okay, we got an hour. I should probably put like an alarm on, but I don't actually know how to get a notification for that. I have to leave a little early today, so just for reference. Okay. And then our subscriptions become subscriptions, which basically do nothing for now, and they'll continue to do nothing apparently, so maybe we don't care so much there. And I suppose these are just complaining because they're debug to-dos. Hey, Oren. That's okay, no worries. Thanks for dropping by and saying hi. Appreciate it. It is appreciated. We're basically getting through the Elm book. We're almost done, actually. We skipped ahead a little bit because just the way this works, the order is a little odd because you can't, the way that I'm doing my development using Elm Live, I can't actually see the new page, but it was mostly because I was doing it incorrectly. I could have fixed that, but I didn't realize it at the time. So now we've skipped ahead in the book to set up the single page app so that we can look at both pages at the same time with the correct CSS formatting, and then we'll go back and finish chapter 7. So we're into chapter 8 right now. Maybe I should write that. I can't compare Elm to PureScript because my knowledge of PureScript and Halogen is so minimal, but I can tell you that PureScript and Halogen is way astronomically more complicated than Elm. Like, that's not like an exaggeration either. Like, Elm is, you know, here, and Halogen is in the stratosphere. Yeah. It's really hard. It's not about PureScript being a more powerful language. It has to do with Halogen being really difficult. Like, it's not, well, okay, maybe that has to do with language complexity as well. But like in Halogen, you're doing things like handling messages, I guess, between back and forth from JavaScript, and it seems much harder. Yeah, I don't know if it's entirely just because PureScript is more complicated. I don't think that means that Halogen or any front end thing needed to be more complicated than Elm. But you know, I'm not a language designer or a library writer, so what do I know? PureScript didn't work well on NixOS for me, so I dumped it for Elm, and I loved it. Yeah, I mean, so far our experience with Elm has been really good. I think we've only ran into one issue where we were like, man, we could have used more language features to really make this easier on us. Yeah. I mean, I really do want to rewrite. I would like to rewrite this application in PureScript. Maybe not with not with Halogen, but I don't know, to compare and contrast the two more directly, because I really don't know. I don't know if it's just because I don't know what I'm doing and there's no documentation, so that makes PureScript a lot harder. I should say Halogen 5 doesn't have like complete tutorial / documentation yet. Okay, anyway, let's keep going. Yeah, so we have this debug to do thing, which obviously means we'll use it later. So we'll fill that in later. The init function receives 3 arguments instead of 1. As this happens, this expanded argument set includes the page's initial URL. Let's define a top-level function for init and have browser application use it. Okay, sure, whatever you say. Why is that there? Do not ask me why it takes a unit as its first argument. Oh, flags, I get it. Nav.key model command. I'm already getting tired, which is really annoying. Why are you doing this? Stop that. Yeah, you can have this too. Here. Done. There's my NeoVim configuration. You just have to follow some documentation about COC-NVim, and you can have this too. Mine's not perfect, but it is a ton better than it was like even 2 years ago. So having the LSP is a huge game changer, and it was really the COC-NVim thing that solved that for me. So flags URL key equals page folders nav. Where would we guess that comes from? Maybe HTML nav? Browser. No, I don't think this is gonna work. We'll have to look this up probably. Oh, wait. No, I didn't think so. Maybe you want key? Ah, I see. So they wanted to, we just want key, maybe. And then this becomes key, and URL is complaining. So URL, maybe this comes from here as well. URL. No. I'm just guessing, so. Although I don't. Sure, I mean, we can just look at this. Where does URL come from? Nah, it's just a type alias, shoot. Elm URL type. Maybe it's just literally URL. How it's more complicated? Well, PureScript the language. Okay, so Elm the language, PureScript the language. I would say that they're you know, like this, right? There's a few more features like Rankin types, for example, that you have to get used to. Scope type variables, like that kind of stuff is all possibly new, or, you know, yeah. But halogen is just so much harder. Like, I don't, every time I make a change in halogen, the errors make it so I cannot figure it out. Oh, nice. I sent myself a reminder to gift a sub to the channel, which I already did, by the way. Illumi got it. Yeah. So it's, yeah, they're very close to one another. Like they're very, very close. It's really a comparison. Like the complication that I'm talking about is really Elm to build UIs versus halogen, right? Because PureScript itself doesn't have like this built-in UI component stuff. Yeah, and it's weird. Anyway, can I just like import URL exposing URL? Is that a thing? Where does URL come from? I have no idea. Let's see if I can find it. I probably missed it. It's right in front of my face. And it was, in fact, import URL exposing. Oh, except I got rid of the other thing as well. And then we need to include this probably, which means we need the URL package. My guess is we're going to need this later, so let's just do this as and then say here nav.key. Okay. In practice, it means we need to do a lot more manual writing in Elm. Yeah, very true. Yep, and the architecture is rigid. Different philosophy. Yeah, again, like the halogen stuff specifically is just extra hard, right? Because there's just no documentation for version 5 yet. So it's like I'm just figuring stuff out from scratch, and like the only way to do it is to just read source code and hope that what you're seeing is what you need. And you need to also know all the little corners of halogen to find what you need. So it's not PureScript that's hard. It's halogen that's hard for me. PureScript is fine. I'm not complaining about PureScript at all. Is my NeoVim init file primed for Haskell? It is primed for Haskell, but you still need to install the LSP. So like everything about that init assumes that you already have the LSPs installed. If you look at that COC settings, here, I'll just bring it up actually. Editor. Copy. So if you look here in this COC settings file, you'll see like PureScript language server. So you can just like get rid of this if you're not going to write PureScript. For Haskell, what you need is this HIE wrapper, and that it comes from Haskell IDE engine here, which you will also need to install. What OS are you on, Wizard? Are you a Linux or Mac person? Yeah, I think that if it was on Pursuit, like my life would be so much easier. But when I was searching around for like some failures, and I was like, okay, what does this do? Like I'm doing something wrong, or the order of my inputs is wrong, and it was because I was looking at the version 4 documentation. So it'll be exciting when version 5 is on Pursuit. It will also be exciting when I get through one example and like I see the order of operations. Once I have the order of operations, I think I'll be a lot better off. Yeah. I don't know that it's over abstraction. I mean, they look quite similar. It's just there's so much more types to deal with in the halogen world than here. I guess that's it. Although again, I truly I think I am complaining, but I think it's going to be easier once I get an example done, and we're going to do that. I promise that I will figure it out at some point. I didn't hear anything from Wizard, so I'll just wait. Anyway, you just need to install this thing. So if you're on Windows, that's much more complicated. But if you're on Windows and Mac, it should be as simple as just doing a stack, like following these instructions, installation from source. I have Ubuntu 18 or later, so I just did this. I did these. I did this. And this will take a while because it's got to build Shake. And then all you need to do is run like these 2 lines and you should be good to go. Now your LTS version must match this version of HIE, so that's a little more complicated, but anyway. Okay. So we got nav.key and we need to fix this URL thing. And I think all we need to do is elm something. Elm install elm/URL. I found it. Yeah, I want it in my direct dependencies, I guess. And then we can just restart this over here maybe and see if it works. Oh, this is supposed to be command.none, so we're very close now. That's a very good point, Lumi. That is a good point. And again, like I do remember on the stream, we got into a situation where it would have been nice to have more Haskell-y features, and we had to write a lot more code, which Lumi also pointed out, to accomplish what we had. I am not dropping frames. I have not dropped any frames, and I'm at 6K bitrate, so I don't think, like, that's the best I can do on Twitch as an affiliate. It can't be any better than this. Is anyone else having issues with Twitch? Just out of curiosity. As far as I can tell, I'm okay. Okay. So I think it's on your end. So yeah, refresh the stream maybe. Hey, Co James, what's going on? All right, where were we? All right. So you know what's funny is I constantly I'm like, oh, we need to install this URL thing, and so I keep just banging my head against whatever that is. I do this all the time, and then literally I look back down and I see elm install elm/URL. Like right there. Oh, that's really funny. I started streaming with normal HD at 30 FPS. Plus 2500. I assume you mean 2500 bit rate. Yeah, so like if you do 720p at 30 frames, most people can't tell the difference for like the platforms that they're using. I'm only streaming at 1080p at 60 frames per second because I can. That's it. Like that's the best you can do. I can't go any higher than this, and I wouldn't be able to support. Well, Twitch doesn't support bit rates if I wanted to go higher than 1080p. Not sure if it is on my end, but with lower setting. I mean, you can always downgrade the stream on your end. So if you want to watch it at 720 30, you can, right? Yeah, again, that's not my end. And as far as I can tell, no one else is having this issue. So it's on your end, Freeman. And I can't really do anything. You can't lower it to 720? But yeah, my bit rate's pretty stable right now. It hasn't really moved at all. So I'm not sure what's going on. And like Twitch throttles you. So the best bit rate that you can feed to Twitch is actually 6K as an affiliate. So I don't know what's going on, Freeman. Sorry. I wish I had more info for you, but I just don't. Twitch can be weird sometimes. Sometimes my video just freezes on Twitch when I'm watching someone else. And I have a decent internet anyway. Okay. So if the URL is /gallery, we'll set model page to gallery. If URL is root, we'll set it to folders. If it's anything else, we'll set it to not found. Sure. So we have this init function, and we have probably a case on URL of URL dot path /gallery. No. Gallery. This, right? Yeah. If it's root, we'll set it to folders. And what does anything else mean? Oh, right. Just duh. If it's anything else, we'll say it's not found. Oop, wrong thing. Okay. As far as I know, they turn it off for non-partners sometimes when stuff is overloaded. They turn it off. What is it? Oh, I see what you're saying. They turn the limiter. I see what you're saying. Yeah. So yeah, that's possible. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that. I suppose that does actually change the conversation for what I should be doing. What helped me with free monads? Nothing. I still don't fully understand free monads. Honestly. I can use them, but I don't understand them. I mean, tagless vinyl is free monads, right? I guess freer, but what are you looking to do, Ken? Why don't you look into effect systems? They're really fun. All right, so in theory, this, I guess, is done. I'm not really sure. This is a great start. Okay, so if we click any of the links, we'll get a runtime exception, but that's fine. So we'll do this. Photogroove. So we are. Do I just need to refresh? Because it doesn't look like we're on the folders page. Oh, but we still haven't connected those things. We've only said that we're on the folders page. We're not displaying a different page based on folders, right? But if I do go to /gallery, I should have. This doesn't look. It doesn't seem to be working right, but I don't know why. So we'll just keep going. But maybe this is because of Elm Live. We did say that potentially we would need to hop back and try the spa server thing. So let's do that and see if that changes anything. npm, what is it? I-G http server spec. Okay. And then we should be able to just run http server spa. Could not start server directory dot localhost 8080. Okay. Okay. It doesn't highlight this. So what it said is, in the book anyway, because I didn't define an on URL request, that changing them via this thing would lead to a runtime error. So my guess is there's probably some obnoxious information here. So if I refresh, it should be okay. But it's not highlighting this correctly. It still highlights folders, which is weird. Maybe I'm misunderstanding something. Do I need to send a message to update the page? Maybe. Let's try that. Okay. Oh, this probably won't be live. So we're gonna, well, what we can do is I guess run we'll run Elm Live here, and then we'll run HTTP server here, so that we have a compiler and this, and then we can just refresh this when we need to. I assume it won't automatically update or anything. All right, so we've updated the model, but this is on init. This is very strange to me. But maybe I'm misunderstanding exactly what init is doing. Maybe it means that if I opened up this first, I would expect this to be active. I don't understand, but that's okay. Totally fine for now. We'll get there. All right, parsing URL paths. Before we can parse a URL into a page that stores the selected photo file name, I don't care about this yet. What I care about is just having this other thing to working. Why do I not see the highlights? I don't understand why I don't see the highlights. What if we fire off a message and see if that does anything? Load gallery. So we're getting folders, right? So we get folders. So let's say we have a message load gallery, and then here we'll fire off load gallery, and then here we'll say message case message of load gallery, and all we really need to do is do this. Actually, it doesn't even matter what our message is still. We just need to fire off the message because we'll have a new model. So we can just actually still ignore and we can still actually call this nothing. Ignore this. And instead of firing off command none, we'll fire off nothing and see if that changes anything. Something is off. Oh, you know what? It's probably like a name collision. So let's say do nothing. No, it's not. Oh, I need to wrap this in a command. How do I do that? I don't even remember. Photo groove. What is it? GT? Okay. On click. Well, we don't have an on click. Okay, so apply filters seems to... It's always command none, which is really unfortunate. On URL request. We might need to just do that. Because these are always command none, which is also kind of interesting. We never have that be anything but command none. Interesting. Okay, whatever. So let's keep reading. All I want to do is figure out this one thing, and then I'll probably call it. So actually, let me put this in here because we're probably gonna need to come back to this. I don't care about URL parsing at the moment. Handling URL changes. Okay, I found the code, so. But you are right, Oren. Clicked link browser dot URL request changed URL. All right, so we're gonna change. We need to handle this change URL event basically. So on URL change, we're going to say changed URL. We'll implement that one first. Message case message of. For now, ignore a bunch of stuff by just doing this. And then here we'll say changed URL. How do we do with this? URL to page. Model. So now we're kind of jumping around a lot in the book because I'm trying to get to a point where this is working right. This is probably url.page. Okay. We have what's URL? URL to page is a function over here. So we'll just bring this in real quick. URL to page. URL to page. And of course, not surprisingly, it's not going to work first time because we need to include a bunch of parser stuff. Okay, what fails here? So we need to go over this again at some point, but I really just need, I want to get this stupid page viewed and see if the expanding and contracting worked correctly. Maybe it was stupid to do this, but it's too late now. Import URL parser as parser exposing Okay, so we have a parser. And then we should be able to define our parser, I guess. Is going to be a parser page to a. Of course. The problem is you need all of this stuff to make this work. So we're gonna have to go through this code again, unfortunately. But that's okay. And we're doing this way out of order, which really stinks for the videos because they're gonna be way wrong, but that's fine. I mean, if you want the book, you can go get the book. Gallery. Folders. Not. Oh shoot, we already actually defined this. We just need selected photo. Nope. All right, what next? It was url.path, I think. Oh, but it just takes the URL. Never mind. We don't want path there. We just want the URL. Okay, so this compiles. So let's see what it actually does. So if this is 8080, if we refresh, it still doesn't highlight this, and it still doesn't even show the folders. I don't know. Page. Navlink, target page. View header, model.page. Where's my update function? Page. URL to page. So if I get the gallery correctly, then the gallery should be active. Right? Okay. Let's put a debug in here, I guess. Because now I'm annoyed. Can I just... guess we would do this. So rendering okay. So page equals page. No, that's list concatenation. How do I... Can I just show this? Oh, I'm stupid. We'll just stick this here. debug log case. We're duplicating code, but again, whatever. Target page. Wait, no, this is always going to happen. So in the gallery, what we really want to print is show page equals target page. That's what we want to show. Oh yeah. All right. Dropping in to say hello. Hey, how's it going? I like your shirt. Yeah, this one's good actually. See, a funny story about this shirt. I went to a conference and I was in a rush to leave my house and I forgot all my clothes. So I went to this conference and I had to buy all new clothes because I forgot my entire bag and I had drove 8 hours before I realized I forgot my bag. So yeah, that was fun. How do I can I just log a boolean? Like, is that a thing? How do I take bool? Is there a bool? There's probably a bool.show, right? That would be my guess. Show. Search. Bool. True. True. Standard library. What time is it? Okay, 9:15. I have to leave in a few minutes, but we're almost there. Wait, is there no boolean? Basics? Bool? Print. Yeah. This is one of the issues with Elm. First of all, I can't find anything. And Elm convert. Like, there's gotta be a built-in for this. There is not. Fine. I just write the dang function myself. Show. Bool. String. Show. It's this frustrates me beyond. Like, here's an issue with Elm. I don't want to write this function. And now because I'm getting sleepy and friggin' annoyed, I'm making stupid mistakes like writing Haskell. Okay, so the whole point of this was, what is this complaining about? Oh, sure. apparently not. I don't know how to write it if it is. So elm bool to string. Oh, maybe I should have wrote that in here. Bool to string. Ah, yeah. So see what I mean? String conversions. Yeah, there isn't one in the standard library for this. Bool extra elm string conversions. So you literally have to write your own. Just like, please just give me that function. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's just a little annoying. And like, whatever. Okay, so what's the point here? Yeah, it's very their core. I think this is what's referred to as Elm core. Is their sort of standard set of packages. Is there a string from bool maybe? No. Okay. Anyway, this is just the built-in stuff. All right. Let me think about what I was doing because I'm now flustered. The whole point was if our target page is gallery, which is this, and then we also go to gallery, we should get true. Oh, right. Because it's a Boolean, it's a little easier. Good point. Then true, else false. We don't need to use this. You're right. I see what you're saying. Or I see what the error is complaining about because B is bool, but that wouldn't work for other things. It still formats it like that though, which is really funny to me. All right, so anyway, back to what I was trying to think about. When we go to the gallery page, we should get a debug log. And actually, let's write let I don't know, is gallery string better be okay. One more time, save it for good measure. Restart our stupid server. Go back to our stupid app. Refresh the page. Should be true. False. So it's not parsing this. Right? Proof. So parser. So parse. If we get a changed URL message, we should update the model with the correct page. Is this an issue with the lazy thing? What if we just remove lazy for now? And does that change anything? I don't think that it will. But for my sanity, let's change it. No, I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm missing something very, probably trivial, but I don't know what it is. So let's do parser. So what's a URL, I guess? So path is probably a string. Path string. Okay, so let's just here debug.log url.path. Path is. Why is it not printing? Oh, we're not changing the URL. We're never changing the URL. So it never updates. So we need to implement the other one first, because I can't like trick it to load a new URL. It's just loading a URL. This is like on URI request, so it's going to do the same thing every time because I didn't implement it. All right, so this makes sense anyway. I see what's going on now, but we need to fix that. So we'll do that next time.